What I Have Learned About Membranes by Whitney. This is a map of El Salvador. Amphibians and reptiles. An amphibian has slimy skin. Amphibians are cold-blooded. Amphibians that lay their eggs in the water. A reptile has bumpy skin and lays their eggs on land. Reptiles are also cold-blooded. Reptile eggs are hard and there are not as much of them. Amphibian eggs are soft and squishy. They are much smaller than reptile eggs, and there are much, much, much more eggs than reptile eggs. Frog or toad. A frog is an amphibian. It needs water and dry land to live. Frogs can breathe and drink through their skin. Frogs have smooth skin. Toads have bumpy skin and do not need as much water to live. Can you figure out if the picture has a frog or a toad? The answer is the picture has a toad. El Salvador and the United States. Here are things alike in El Salvador and the United States. They both have snakes. They both use US dollars. Here are some things that are only in the United States. The main language is English, and the flag has stars on it. Some things only about El Salvador is the main language is Spanish, the roads are made of rocks and dirt. The next 4 pages are about biology meeting technology. That is where a person makes something that has the same meaning as something in nature. That is called biomimicry. The flying squirrel and the parachute go together. Their function is they both float or glide. The burr and the Velcro go together. Their function is that they both stick to things. The teeth and the knife go together. Their function is to cut things or rip things. The beak and the nutcracker go together. Their function is to crack things open, like seeds or nuts. Egg experiment. My table had 2 eggs, one with a shell and one without. We soaked the eggs in blue-colored water for 24 hours, and the next day we cut them open and looked at them to see if the dye went through. Before we soaked the eggs, we measured around the eggs. Raisins. In class, we were seeing if raisin skin was like membranes. We looked at the raisins under the microscope and saw there were little tiny holes in it. Then we weighed the raisins. After that, we soaked 3 raisins in just water for 24 hours. 3 more raisins in water and sand for 24 hours. And 3 more raisins in water for 3 hours. The next few days we cut them open and looked at them close up. We were seeing if any of the sand or water got in the raisins. In the picture there is some cheesecloth, screen, felt, sponge, tinfoil, and coffee filters. These are the materials that we were allowed to use for our experiment. Membrane design. At school, we made a design. We had to use the materials and find a way to put the materials in a cup. Then we poured a cup of water in. The next day, we checked how much water went through. This is my table's first design. On the bottom, there was tin foil with no holes. In the middle, there was a sponge that was laying flat. On the top, there was tin foil with one hole. Design number 2. On the bottom, we put some screen, and on the top, we put one sponge also.